Reading out information today related to this Star Trek original series episode titled The Empath. Star Trek fan Joyce Muskat, fresh out of UC Berkeley, was working as a newspaper reporter when she wrote her first television script, The Answerer. It was inspired by the 1933 science fiction novel When Worlds Collide, and also by an ancient Egyptian custom of inviting a person to speak on behalf of another who was being judged. Muskat was also working at the local theatre, and wanted the story to be shot on a bare, surreal set, like a stage play that focused on the characters. Her theatre employer, playwright and screenwriter Robert Fisher, liked the script and acting as her agent, submitted it. Star Trek producers Gene Roddenberry, Fred Freiberger, and Robert Justman all thought it had promise, but agreed there would have to be some changes. Muskat reworked the script based upon their input. Freiberger, Justman, and story consultant Arthur Singer made further changes, and Singer also gave the story a new title, The Empath. Since Muskat was not a member of the Writers Guild, Star Trek would be saving money, which was becoming very tight. Star Trek associate producer Robert Justman had worked on an episode of The Outer Limits called Nightmare, which also dealt with men being brutally interrogated by aliens on a minimalistic set. The episode was directed by John Erman, and Justman hired him for The Empath, given their similar themes. Erman was in turn hired a few actors he had previously worked with. He remembered Catherine Hayes from his time as a casting director and recommended her for the part of Jem. She'd also impressed Gene Roddenberry in an episode of Naked City that he had written. The actors who played the Vians, Lal and Fan, were friends of Erman. Willard Sage, Fan, had also worked on the Outer Limits episode. Alan Bergman played the main Vian, Lal. He was reluctant at first as the part sounded limited and he didn't like the idea of wearing grotesque makeup, but Erman eventually persuaded him and promised to expand his role. Filming began on the Thursday, July 25, 1968. There was a delay due to Shatner, Nimoy, and Kelly being unhappy with elements of the script, and various injuries and illnesses, including Kelly suffering a back spasm. The scenes on the surface of the planet were filmed first, then the cast and crew moved to Paramount's giant Marathon Stage 1, dressed as a surrealistic underground chamber. Guest star Catherine Hayes recalled, "A cyclorama went around the entire studio, set right up against the walls, and that, along with the floors and ceilings, was painted black so it looked like we were out in space." Filming finished on Friday, August 2nd, one full day behind due to the problems at the start of the shoot. This was to be cinematographer Jerry Finneman's last Star Trek episode. He had been with the show since the first episode. This was also the only Star Trek assignment for director John Erman. He did not enjoy the experience due to Shatner and Nimoy wishing to direct themselves. Erman later said, "Nobody was like Bill and Lenny. I don't remember any other actors saying what those guys said, which was, 'Oh no, my character just wouldn't do that.' That was the ultimate put down for a director." Guest star Alan Bergman recalled, "Mr. Shatner and Mr. Nimoy seemed to be in conflict. They struggled over better camera positions and made life difficult for the director." The Empath had a distinctive musical score composed by George Dunning. His use of the Yamaha organ was, according to the composer himself, the first time that the electronic instrument, newly arrived from Japan, was featured in a Hollywood film score. The enchanting theme for Jem was used in multiple subsequent episodes during tender, romantic scenes.